At 69, Tom Hanks finally tells the truth about Rob Reiner, and it's really sweet and honest. Tom Hanks was born Thomas Jeffrey Hanks on July 9, 1956 in Concord, California, a regular town where he started his big life. Tom Hanks had a childhood full of moving from house to house and big family changes right after his mom and dad got divorced. He was mostly raised by his dad, so young Tom learned to be super independent pretty early, and he got really good at watching people and noticing everything around him. Those early years made him extra good at spotting tiny things like little gestures, real feelings, and soft spots in people, stuff that later made his acting feel so true and special. Even though his childhood wasn't calm or easy with all the moving and changes, it taught him how to go with the flow and really care about how others feel, and those things shaped his whole amazing career and the nice way people see him today. Hanks found out he loved acting while he was in college, where he studied theater and jumped into tons of fun plays on stage. After college, he chased acting as his real job, and he started getting small parts on TV that showed everyone he was naturally super funny and quick with jokes. His big break came in the early 1980s with the funny TV show Bosom Buddies, where his silly physical comedy and super warm personality made him the star everyone loved. At that time, people saw Hanks as a light, happy comic actor who was great at being charming and making jokes, but he wasn't known for deep, serious drama yet. The middle and late 1980s were a huge turning point for him. Movies like Splash, Big, and A League of Their Own proved he could do way more than just be funny. He had real heart and true feelings in his acting. Big especially showed he could play someone full of innocence and wonder without making it too mushy or fake. And that got him his very first Academy Award nomination. He brought such true honesty to every character, making even wild make-believe stories feel real, grounded, and superhuman. The 1990s made Tom Hanks one of the greatest actors of all time. In an incredible achievement, he won back-to-back Oscars for Best Actor, first for Philadelphia in 1993 and then for Forrest Gump in 1994. In Philadelphia, Hanks gave a brave and kind performance as a man fighting AIDS back when lots of people were still scared and unfair about it, and his acting helped change how the whole world thought by showing real care and dignity. In Forrest Gump, he created one of the most famous characters ever. A simple guy whose plain way hid really deep and true emotions, and the movie turned into a massive cultural hit that everyone still talks about. Those powerful roles showed he could share really complicated feelings in a quiet, honest way that touched everyone's heart. As his career kept going strong, Hanks always chose roles that were about being human, showing moral courage, and bouncing back from tough times emotionally. In Saving Private Ryan, he played a quiet leader and showed the heavy inside pain that war causes. In Castaway, he carried almost the whole movie by himself, using his body strength and tiny expressions to show what being totally alone and fighting to survive feels like. His teamwork with famous director Steven Spielberg in movies like Saving Private Ryan, Catch Me If You Can, The Terminal, and Bridge of Spies made everyone see him as someone who could mix smarts, warmth, and serious depth all together perfectly. Besides his real-life acting, Tom Hanks did awesome work with just his voice, especially playing Woody in Pixar's Toy Story movies. His voice gave Woody so much heart and real soul, turning a simple animated cowboy doll into a big symbol of being loyal, growing up, and becoming more mature emotionally. Through Woody, Hanks reached kids and new generations, proving his special talent for telling stories works in cartoons and touches people of every age. Hanks has also done really important things behind the camera as a producer, director, and writer. He really loves telling true history stories, so he produced some very famous miniseries like Band of Brothers, The Pacific, and Masters of the Air. These shows show how much he cares about remembering history, especially the brave things normal, everyday people did in huge, hard situations. His big focus on making everything feel real and respectful shows how much he affects culture even when he's not the one acting on screen. Long before he became one of the most trusted and loved people in all of American movies and TV, his true big start happened on the small screen where fans first discovered his rare combo of charm, perfect comedy timing, and real emotional honesty. He stepped into the big spotlight as a co-lead on the ABC sitcom Bosom Buddies from 1980 to 1982. That fun role not only showed off his natural funny side, but also gave little hints of the smart, deep actor he would grow into later. Week after week, viewers really connected with how he could be hilariously awkward one minute and so deeply human the next, making the show the perfect launching pad that turned a promising young guy into a name everyone knew all over the country. As his career sped up, people trusted and admired him so much that he got invited back to host Saturday Night Live an unbelievable 10 times. That's a huge honor only for stars who always grab the live crowd and the millions watching at home. Each time he hosted, it proved again he could do sharp comedy, touching heartfelt speeches, or fun surprise moments that are now part of classic TV history. Besides performing, he quietly changed TV by starting his own production company called Playtone. Through Playtone, he helped create big, carefully made stories that made TV feel like giant movies. The company's projects include the huge and super impressive From the Earth to the Moon in 1998, the critically loved World War II epic Band of Brothers, the strong and historical John Adams in 2008, the haunting follow-up The Pacific, the very political Game Change in 2012, and the close, character-focused Olive Kitteridge in 2015. Each one of these shows showed his real love for meaningful stories, true history, and deep emotions, and they got tons of praise and lots of awards. Never happy to stick to just one thing, he later took his talents to the Broadway stage and made his theater debut in Nora Ephron's Lucky Guy in 2013. People loved his performance there so much, showing his strong charm worked just as powerfully live on stage as it does in movies. That role earned him a Tony Award nomination for Best Actor in a Play, proving once more he's one of the rare artists who shines in TV, film, and theater, while always surprising everyone with how wide his talent is and how real and sincere he always stays. Tom Hanks's personal life, especially his marriages and family relationships, happened quietly right alongside his huge career, showing a man whose own real feelings match the deep human side that people love so much in his movies. Hanks married American actress Samantha Lewis, born Susan Jane Dillingham, in 1978, when both were still just starting out in show business and trying to make it. They met while studying theater together, and they connected right away because they shared the same dreams about acting and the scary uncertainties of being young adults. Their relationship started before Hanks got super famous, during hard years of not much money, endless auditions, and the tough grind of early work. Together they built a family while Hanks was still pretty unknown, handling big dreams and grown-up responsibilities at the same time. The marriage gave them 2 children. Their son, Colin Hanks, born in 1977, grew up watching his dad's career slowly climb higher before Colin made his own path as an actor too. Colin later became a respected performer in movies and TV, known for his own great talent and not just because he's Tom Hanks's son. Their daughter, Elizabeth Ann Hanks, born in 1982, was raised mostly away from cameras and fame, though she has sometimes shared sweet thoughts about her childhood and family through writing and talking publicly. Even with all their shared history, the marriage between Hanks and Lewis slowly started to fall apart. As Hanks's career took off big in the 1980s with more fame, super long work hours, and constant travel, it got harder and harder to keep their relationship strong. They divorced in 1987, ending an almost 10-year marriage that really shaped Hanks's early adult years. In later years, Hanks talked openly and honestly about the pain and regret from the divorce, saying young mistakes, huge career pressure, and growing emotional distance were big parts of it. That hard experience left a deep mark on him and helped him grow and understand commitment better. Samantha Lewis later faced a terrible fight with bone cancer and sadly passed away in 2002 at just 49 years old. Her death hurt Hanks and their children very deeply, especially because it brought back so many memories of the life they shared together. Hanks has always stayed respectful and very private when he speaks about Lewis, honoring her as the mom of his first 2 kids and as a really important part of his life story. While still married to Lewis, Hanks met actress Rita Wilson in 1981 on the set of the TV show Bosom Buddies, where they became good friends. At first, they didn't turn it into romance, but the connection stayed strong in the background. They got reunited a few years later in 1985 while working on the movie Volunteers, and that's when their feelings grew into something deeper and real. Their bond came from mutual respect, lots of shared laughs, and really understanding each other's emotions, not some quick crush. Rita Wilson, who comes from Greek and Bulgarian roots, grew up in the Greek Orthodox Church, and that faith was a big, important part of her life and who she is. Before marrying her, Hanks made the personal choice to convert to Greek Orthodoxy, not just as a nice thing to do, but because he truly believed in it. He has talked about his faith in a thoughtful, calm way, saying church is a peaceful place for reflection instead of having all the answers. For Hanks, religion is about thinking deeply about life's hard contradictions, the mix of joy and suffering, goodness and unfairness. He has described faith not as perfect answers, but as a big mystery that helps you stay humble, kind, and thoughtful about everything. Hanks and Wilson got married in 1988, starting a strong partnership that has lasted for decades in a tough industry where so many couples don't make it. Their marriage is often called one of the most stable and loving in all of Hollywood, built on real admiration, loyalty, and laughing together a lot. Wilson is often seen as Hanks's emotional rock, giving him balance and real perspective as his career went to super high levels. In return, Hanks always credits Wilson with helping him grow into a better husband, dad, and all-around person. Together they have 2 sons. Their eldest son, Chester "Chet" Hanks, has gone after music and acting, making his own public path that sometimes gets lots of media attention. Chet released a rap song back in 2011 and later had repeating roles on TV shows like Empire and Shameless. His journey has had big dreams and some personal tough challenges, but Hanks and Wilson have always faced it with openness and support, always talking about family love and growing stronger through hard times. Their younger son, Truman Theodore Hanks, born in 1995, has mostly stayed out of the spotlight and likes working quietly behind the scenes in film. In one really nice moment, he played the younger version of his dad's character in A Man Called Otto in 2022, a quiet, symbolic way to show how close the family is and how they share the same love for telling stories. Truman's part showed how the family keeps passing down the storytelling tradition across generations. At this stage of his life and career, Tom Hanks speaks with a calm, real honesty that only comes from living through so many years. When he looks back on the people who shaped modern Hollywood storytelling, Hanks doesn't even hesitate when Rob Reiner's name comes up. It's clear how much he means to him. Rob is one of those rare special people who truly understands that entertainment isn't about ego or being the biggest star. It's all about empathy and caring for others. Hanks says he knows that if you don't really care about the people on screen, the audience won't care either. And that's a big truth. For Hanks, that simple idea is exactly why Reiner's films have lasted so long and still touch people's hearts across many generations, even after trends and big box office numbers fade away. Hanks explains that Reiner's real strength is how much he respects both actors and writers equally. Rob listens, he says, and he means it. That sounds super simple, but it's actually really rare and hard. He listens to the script carefully, he listens to the cast, and he listens to the story itself. When you work with someone like that, you feel completely protected and safe. According to Hanks, Reiner creates a special atmosphere where trying creative risks feels okay, where performers can dig into their vulnerable sides without fear of judgment or being pushed too fast. That kind of safe, supportive environment doesn't just happen by accident, Hanks adds. It comes from someone who knows exactly what it's like to be the actor standing on the other side of the camera. As Hanks thinks back on Reiner's whole legacy, he points to the real emotional honesty that runs through every one of his films. Rob never chases after cynicism or mean-spirited stuff, Hanks says. Even when the stories are funny, romantic, or dramatic, there's always this deep belief that people are trying to do the right thing. Hanks believes this true sincerity is exactly why audiences trust Reiner as a filmmaker. You sit down to watch one of his movies and you know you're not going to be tricked or manipulated. You're going to be invited in warmly, like a friend. Hanks also gives credit for the courage it takes to keep that kind, honest way in an industry that changes so fast. Hollywood often rewards loud noise and big spectacle, he says. But Rob always chose clarity and heart instead. In an era that's more and more about huge effects and super-fast speed, Reiner's love for character-driven, real stories stands out even more. He reminds us that a well-told story can be just as powerful, maybe even more, than any fancy special effect. Hanks notes, "That's a big lesson I've carried with me my entire career." Now, with all the wisdom of looking back, Hanks talks about Reiner not just as a great filmmaker, but as someone who sets a high standard for everyone. Rob set a bar, he says, not just for making great movies, but for how you treat people while you're making them. For Hanks, that might be the most lasting and important truth of all. Success comes and goes, he reflects, but integrity, being real and good, lasts forever. Rob Reiner proved that you don't have to give up one to get the other. You can have both.